Yeah, it it was weird, man. Like so, so many little things that were they're either like mainly a part of the Pinocchio story that have to be kept in there, or they're just things that are like such good ideas that somebody had at one point that they have to be carried on now.
Yeah, what origin was Pinocchio initially?
I believe it's an Italian. It's written by an Italian man.
Okay.
So it's an Italian tale. And the that live action movie, they definitely do like there are people named Luigi. They speak with Italian, sort of like Mario, like they talk like this, like fake ass Italian accents. And
Yeah.
they're saying ciao and buongiorno and all these things.
Buongiorno, principessa.
Yeah. The buongiorno Geppetto. I'm going
Yeah.
to come buy your puppet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The bad guy in the movie is always eating some hot spicy peppers, and he like at one point when he's brainwashed Pinocchio to come work for him as a showy dancy theatrical puppet now.
Yeah.
He's like got him performing, and they roll out, and it's a parallel for Monster at the end of the movie. It's like this cardboard cutout of just a big like sea serpent, and the bad guy's like eating all his peppers off stage, and then just like breathes into a tube, and somehow that makes pyrotechnics come out of the sea monster's
that's
mouth.
one scene I remember from that Martin Landau movie,
And then when
where he like burps into a big like
he
funnel.
just eats a bunch of peppers and then just breathes into the funnel,
Yeah.
and out of the other end of the tube, it comes out as like a huge gout of flame of pyrotechnics.
Yeah, was it like a dragon?
It was like it was basically like a sea monster that just looked like a large body coming into one head, like a whale kind of thing,
Yeah,
sort of like evoking Monstro from the end. Because at the end too, it's weird how they like go about this. I don't know. I felt like it
Was
as stupid as this movie was. It could have been a little bit cleaner.
right. Was there a blue fairy?
No, none, and that part should have been there.
Yeah, and there was a Jiminy.
There was a Jiminy character. He wasn't Jiminy Cricket. He was Pepe.
Okay.
And it was weird because
Maybe the original was Pepe.
quite possibly, I think it was just called the Talking Cricket in the original, like in the
Okay.
book. But that character Pepe, like he Pinocchio just goes outside, and you hear crickets, and you're like, "Yep, we're outside. It's nighttime." And then all of a sudden, one cricket out of the flock in the entire world is like, "Hi there, I'm here. I'm Pepe the cricket. Chip chip." Like,
Well, is he like CGI? What is?
yes,
Okay.
CGI.
So he's like an actual. He has eyes, and they move around like real human eyes.
A little bit. It's
So
more.
He's
more.
like stands up with like a little suit jacket.
No, he doesn't have a suit really. Like he's more just like a slightly cartoon version of a real, like slightly realistic looking cricket, and he's just a little bit animated where he like is a little bendy and just moves how a cricket couldn't move. And sometimes he stands on two legs and is just walking around, but most of the time he's like jumping around and constantly moving because he's not a great effect, and they don't want to stand still for too long so you can see how bad it is.
Right.
And it's weird how he just keeps showing up in the movie and then disappearing and then showing up at the next location and being like, "Oh, I'm here again, Pinocchio. I'm
It's
here
like
to help
Pinocchio
you."
has like
And
a
then-
selective conscience.
And then something happens where like somebody like hypothetically will get him with a bug net and then throw him out the window, and then we don't see him for 10 minutes. We move on to a new scene, and then from a cookie jar just pops out like, "Oh, I'm back, Pinocchio." Like, how the fuck did you get there? What is happening? And it keeps happening over and over, so that's pretty funny.
Could you imagine having a conscience that's like aware of itself and it's like separate from your body and it's like, I'm your conscience.
That would
Let
be
your conscience be your guide. But he's like barely there in this one, it seems. He's just like, I'll show up whenever.
or he's like inept, or maybe it's I don't know if it's a joke. I really don't know but then like
Because that's what Jiminy was in the original cartoon. He was, I'm your conscience.
yeah.
Where he's like, he's actually
He was
telling
supposed to tell Pinocchio what was right and wrong, like
Yeah.
help him go
become,
become
a real boy, because that's
he had to earn that shit.
yeah. Do you remember all those Disney movies that had to partner up the main character with animal sidekicks, and sometimes more than one? Like in Pocahontas, it was the raccoon and the hummingbird.
Or how about the Fox and the Hound, where they were both animals?
And
That was
do you remember the one where it was Peter Pan had Tinkerbell,
yeah.
and then in the Sleeping Beauty, she had 3 little tiny fairies.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was
The,
Mulan had Mushu
Mushu.
and a flea.
Yeah,
A
a cricket.
The lucky cricket, yeah.
The cricket. Yep.
Where like it never died. It would
was
get
just-
run over and it would
It was
just,
just yep.
and even Wall-E had a roach friend that stayed. Like Wall-E goes and it's like sit. And the
Well, I mean, it
roach just
wasn't
sits
really
there.
a huge character, but in A Bug's Life, there was like an aphid that was like a small lapdog.
Yeah, oh
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. That's funny. It
yeah.
was that old lady's lapdog. She's like,
Was that Cloris Leachman?
I thought it was or Phyllis Diller or somebody.
Yeah,
somebody old.
It was definitely a comedian.
Yeah.
Comedian.
Comedian. Yeah.
And then Pinocchio at the very end of the movie is like just kicking rocks on the side of the road because he's all depressed and wants to go home and doesn't know where he is. And Jiminy's like, "Oh, that's too bad, son. No, I'm sure you get home someday." And all of a sudden, this carriage just drives by, and Lampwick and all the boys are like, "Come on, we'll go to the great place on earth." And they go, and it's like Terra Magica in this one. It's not
Where it's
called
like-
Pleasure Island.
Yeah, it's like where boys can just drink beer and go nuts, and
And-
isn't
and-
it like?
And in this
Did
one,
it have like pedo vibes to it? With like people that were in charge were like grown men.
and
they were
in
like-
the Disney one.
No, in this like Martin Landau one
Nah,
with JTT.
not really. I mean, it was just like
But did they
go
still
there.
turn into donkeys?
Yeah, and it's horrifying when we see the CGI effect of Lampwick. I think it's Lampwick specifically that they're doing this effect on, because they get there, and there's like one dude in like a clown getup that kind of like holds him up at the entrance and is giving them all a big performance and is like, "Welcome to Terra Magica," and doing all this shit. And he's holding up all these small chalkboards that have all these rules written on them, like no running, no yelling, no blah, blah, blah. All these rules. And all the kids are like, "I thought there was no rules here." And he's like, "That's why we have them." And he throws a rock and breaks one of the chalkboards, and all the kids start throwing rocks at the chalkboards, and they're all bursting. And there's like a small little, they're like fading between cuts of these different boards, breaking in slightly slow motion with like music playing over it. It's like a 30-second little like montage thing. And then they just go around, they're having fun,
And then Alice Cooper plays school.
dude, it seems like some fucking shit should like metal should start going down or something. And then
like the Blitzkrieg Bop plays.
they have the twirly mustache moment where the bad guy gets to be like standing on a balcony above everything. It's like, "Yes, boys, run around, and then when you drink the water."
And then he gets mules, or he gets a burro or of some kind, and then he can like sell
Because the
them.
boys are acting like jackasses.
Yeah.
When they ride this roller coaster, there's like magic water here, I guess. And the
'cause I
magic
thought
water
that's what the original
somehow
thing was like. They drank this like purple juice in the original cartoon, and they just like and everybody's like freakishly turning into donkeys.
in the Disney one.
Yeah.
It was just the only time we see that happen is like Lampwick and Pinocchio are hanging out in like the pool hall, and he's drinking beer and like smoking cigars, but it's not anything specific that really triggers it. It just happens.
Right. Like I remember
like
there was a
over
scene where
time.
like they were like laughing so hard, and then like he's like kicking back in a chair, and he's
Yep.
like,
Dude, it is pretty terrifying when it
It
happens
is.
the Disney one,
In the
because he's
Disney
like
cartoon?
he's literally screaming, "Help me!" and he's like saying shit like, "I don't want this to happen," and you can see.
You can see Pinocchio too, just like all he gets is ears. He's like,
And when it's happening to Lampwick, Pinocchio's like backing up against the wall and like terrified.
because he's bucking and he's like kicking over chairs and tables, and he's like, all you see is the shadow silhouette.
he's going insane because of the horrifying thing that's happening to him that he has no control over.
That was one of the first Disney movies to ever get nominated for an Oscar.
I can see why.
It's
I
a
mean,
trip.
and the way that they like go through and really, really painstakingly paint Monstro, he doesn't even look like he was animated like any typical animated character.
Was
because
Monstro?
it's-
What was the origins of Monstro? It was a person before, and it turned into a guy, and it swallowed Geppetto.
I don't know. In the original story, I believe it was just a giant like It was called the Dogfish of the Sea or something like that, or it was like the Devilish Dogfish, where it was literally just a big fish that swallowed Geppetto. And then in the Disney version, they made it Monstro, called it Monstro, which is Portuguese for serpent or like some shit like that, like Portuguese for something applicable.
Yep.
And then changed it to a whale just because, big ass whale.
Yeah.
Then they melded a blue whale and a sperm whale for like looks. But the way that it's animated, you can tell that it's not just like drawn specifically. It looks like they went through and painstakingly painted it with multiple layers of color, and that those colors move, and the textures of the animal change with how the paint moves, and it looks different than everything else in the movie basically. And
Yep.
it's
Even the water and shit, like when Monster was like swallowing water and like swallowing Geppetto's boat.
yeah,
That's freaky.
it is.
It's kind of the most like that whole scene is scary when like you think, oh shit, they're just like trapped in this whale now, and they're just sitting there, and then Geppetto's kind of like distraught, and like Pinocchio's there, and he kind of feels hope, but like Figaro and the goldfish, I forgot the goldfish's name, Goldie,
No, Cleo.
Cleo, they're both just kind of sad. It's that like point of the movie where you should feel down.
That made me angry. It was when I went to Geppetto's house in Traverse Town. There was Cleo. There's
Yep.
no Figaro.
Oh
I was
really?
like- he was my favorite character out of the little guys.
Yeah,
It's my boy Figaro.
Figaro's pretty
I
dope.
honestly probably have the wrong setup going into this fight right now, Tyler, but I'm trying it anyway just
Oh
to
yeah,
see how it
Wilson
goes.
is playing Kingdom Hearts, the first one, and he's fighting Sephiroth.
This is the final
the
HD
coolest-
final mix.
This is the coolest though version of One Winged Angel.
Boom, boom.
I loved the original, like the soundboard on that game, but this made it feel so epic. It's got that awesome. And Sora's like vacant face.
Yeah, his just
Oh,
doll
hello.
face.
And this is Lance Bass from NSYNC.
I know. The voice casting in this game is crazy. This is one of the most like
They got real Ariel. They got.
they got.
I think they got real Sebastian
They might have even got real Ursula and like real Captain Hook or something. Like whoever.
and Homer Simpson is
Jesus.
Genie.
All right, this is not going well so far, folks. I haven't hit him once.
Just get your go. On
He's
your
too fast.
on your items.
There we go. Now I'm getting some hits in.
Oh shit, boy.
Hey, stop it.
Yeah, he's got some bars. All right,
There we
you're
go.
chipping him now. He's honestly not that difficult. It's just when he does the
I just need him to stop moving around.
the supercharge crap, where you have to like get your health down to 1 hit point. That's always tough. I love the song though. I wish you could just play this in like a
Hey, stop it. I'm trying to
in a
combo
mode
you.
in the game where you can like listen to the music from all the different places.
You don't know how many times I just spend an extra like 5 minutes in Traverse Town. Just listen to that music. And I'm like,
Get him.
oh
Oh shit,
yeah.
man, you don't got it. Okay, get your
I got it. Oh,
no. You got to get your items. You can't use anything. You got to go right to your items because you can't heal because you don't
Well,
have any MP.
I also have to have Strike Raid probably. Because you're invincible while you do that animation.
Oh, while
if
you
you-
while
and
you
if you-
use an item,
And if, no, when
or
he's,
as you cure.
honestly, I'm not going to fight Sephiroth right now. I need to hear audio cues. I need to be like way more into that
You need to
fight
be
to
into
fight
it?
it. Yeah, no, I need to like pay way more attention than I
I
ever
remember
would.
bringing
So I'm not
my,
going to even, I'm going to just, we're going to play a different game.
I was at the Sanfords one time, and I brought over my memory card with my level 99 Sora, and I was already at the Coliseum, and I was like, "Hey guys, watch me kick Sephiroth's ass." And I think a few of our friends were there, and they just watched me just annihilate him. And I was just like, "Fucking watch this shit!" And because like I think they were all playing, they're all playing and starting the game. I'm like, "Yeah, fucking watch this, guys!" And I love showing people all that fucking.
I did that with my,
What was that? Is that just flipping the book around?
Yeah, I flipped the
Insert?
game case on Spider-Man because
Yes.
if you look, it's got that, and it still has the spine. So
It's almost nicer. I did that with my Shadow of the Colossus for PlayStation 4 and 3.
but I'm going to now switch over from Kingdom Hearts to Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man for the PS4, because you and I are going to talk about that, Tyler.
Sounds
You've been
good.
playing that game, so have I, and
Yes.
I think we're going to have a nice little combo. Right now, spoilers for anybody who hasn't played the game. We're going to be talking about it a lot.
Sounds good. I'm excited. Let's do it. This digression has some segments to it.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you're a productive person and you get things done with your life.
Your layout is so
Pardon me,
different
I
than
was
mine.
just sick.
I like hit the options for me once.
On Spider-Man?
Just hit options right now. You see that where it's add to folder?
Yes.
I get so anal retentive where I like put all my home screen shit, like I put into folders because you can do that now.
I mean,
where I put all games into a folder.
I had to put all this extra Sony shit into a folder. 'Cause
That's
it was
one
just
thing that
clogging
like
everything
that's
up.
one thing I hated about the layout because like you had to cycle through all that shit just
Yeah.
to get to a game.
I wish I could move around the games that I have on here too for like instead of being when I like the order that I've played them in most recently, I want them to be like alphabetized or however the fuck I want them.
Oh
you know?
yeah, that'd be nice too. You can put them in different folders. In different, like you can put it in A folder.
I don't
B.
want them in folders. I want to do with them what I want to do with them. Thank you very much, PlayStation.
Yeah, they don't give you a lot of managing, but this game is great.
Yes,
Spider-Man.
The name the name of the game is Spider-Man, and
Marvel's Spider-Man.
the game, in my opinion, is probably the best, and I say this with all confidence, the best superhero game that has been made.
It's great.
The Batman games were good. They kind of wavered in quality a little bit.
Yeah.
They got a little bit farther away of what Batman is. The first one is best at that, but this game really gets it right of what Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
And it feels good to do everything as him, and it's just a really good time all around.
It is. You feel really limber. You're so floaty. You're so agile. I mean, it borrowed a lot of great stuff from like God of War. It borrowed great stuff from the Arkham games. Mm-hmm. It borrows so much from other Spider-Man games that made it great.
And there's no getting around that. Like some things, the people that made Arkham Asylum really got some stuff
Rocksteady.
right for like they figured out a really good way for characters that are like that, like for a basic way of doing fighting that incorporates what the characters would do and making it feel realistic. And like some of that, obviously there's going to be some
That's
similarities.
why Arkham City is probably my one of like top superhero games for me. I enjoyed the Arkham, the first Arkham game, where Joker like just ran amok in Arkham
Yeah.
prison, but like that was great, and you felt like a detective. Like there was things you can, you were actually acting as a detective, like you were being a sleuth about all this stuff. And in City, it just vamps that up, and you can. It's just the story in City was more concise for me. Mm-hmm. Like as the Cain and Abel duality that they posed as a Batman and Joker concept. I really enjoyed that because Spider-Man is nothing without the city he lives in,
Yeah.
and Batman is nothing without Arkham. And they depicted Arkham in Arkham City. Awesome. I loved it. And this game, since it's like they spent so much time on this. I remember Sony's there was a report saying like the creators of this game, Insomniac, they would always go and approach Sony and say, hey, we need a little bit more time creating this thing, or we want to implement this new feature. And they're like, all they said was like, will it make the game better? And all they had to say was yes. And Sony's like, sure, yeah, do whatever, just do it. And that's why this game is like how it is now. They spent so much time and they love the character. You can tell like they care about the IP. And Sony, for all their, you know, bad movie decisions with the IP of Spider-Man, they should just stick to gaming, because honestly, I've seen people say this, if you just play the cinematics out, it's one of the better Spider-Man movies.
No, it really is. Like, it's crazy. I got to a certain point in the story, and then I was realizing, like, oh wow, there's not much left in the story here. But and in some games that would have made me stop and been like, okay, let's get everything else done. Let's finish up this stuff. Let's do all this. And I was like, I can't wait to find out what happens next. Like, that sounds very like generic, but I genuinely like didn't want any more time between what had just happened and what was going to happen next. I was like, I need to know what happens. And so that I just finished the story because I had to see it through. And I'm so glad that I did, because
The story beats are so great.
they really, I'm so glad that they didn't try to tie it into any specific continuity or with any movies or anything like that,
Yep.
because it allowed them to do things with the story that,
Spider-Man's old. He's an older, like 30 something now.
yeah. Well, I mean, I imagine he's actually like 25, because if he was like
He's out of
or
college.
26-ish,
We know
28.
that. We know he's out of college. He's out of the Daily Bugle.
Yeah, because if he graduated at 18 and he's been Spider-Man for 8 years, then he's about 26-ish. you know?
Yeah, so he's getting up there.
He's definitely an older Spider-Man who's
And
seen
like
the ropes for
we
a while.
said, we were gonna talk about spoilers and things like that, like introducing the Miles Morales character as like all this stuff. Like they gradually set that spider thing up, like at the beginning, where you see the spider. Like the first shot of the game is the spider dangling from the window
down.
and
Yeah.
you can see like that's going to be a theme throughout the whole game. I was going to say movie at first. But like the theme of this whole game is like this one spider number 42 eventually gets to the location of Miles Morales and he just gets bit. And like that was a big part of the game. I was like, holy shit, that was a great payoff. Like it jumped onto Mary Jane's jacket from Norman's apartment.
Were there any points in this story where you questioned who you were going to play as? Like,
after a while, I knew like there was gonna be parts where you definitely play as Peter, you definitely play as Mary Jane.
I don't mean
at
that.
points.
Okay, so at a certain point in this game,
Yeah.
I genuinely was sitting here asking myself, like, are we about to play as Miles and Peter's dead? Like, I thought it was going to happen where they would somehow in the story, Peter's gonna die, and
that would've
then
been
you just
crazy.
play the rest of the game as Miles, and they never tell you, they never advertise. But there
That would
you go.
be a fucking Shyamalan twist.
It not really,
But like
But-
it
but
would
it-
really
it would
really
be a
make
big
things
shock.
difficult, like with Aunt May, like just living her life without Peter's like kind of. I don't think the fans would like that. Like I could see if Aunt May would die prior to Peter dying, maybe that would work. But like, I never really saw Peter as like dying at that scene you're talking about with the explosion and crap.
No, I'm not talking about. I don't remember what scene it was, or I thought it was actually like quite possibly at the very end when he's fighting. Spoilers again, everybody. When he's fighting Doc Ock,
Yeah.
I thought that he was going to, beat him, but then maybe die of his wounds or die in the battle or something like that. And then everything after the story, you'd play as Miles, where that doesn't matter like the story anymore. It's just gameplay. You're actually playing as Miles, and like you maybe get a couple more abilities that Miles actually has for like camouflage and the little stinger thing that he has. And I don't know if that's going to be DLC or if they're saving that for the next game, but
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, they beautifully set up that end scene where they're moving Peter into a new apartment, and Miles is like, "Hey, I got something to show you." And he's like, no, don't pull down your pants."
no young man needs to show me anything.
Yeah.
And
And then they just jump on the ceiling, and then he's like, "Wow, I can do that too." like that just sets up an awesome like mentorship in the second game where you like you're Spider-Man and you're talking to Miles like, all right, we gotta save the city, and then there are other scenes where you play as Spider-Man and he's more adept to everything, and then you play as Miles where he's more typical Miles character, I guess, where he can do stealth better maybe than Peter would be able to because he has cloak and he's got all this other stuff. So maybe there's going to be some cool changing of the guard or changing of the hero at points where it would
Maybe.
make sense.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. Like in the next, if they do save it for the next one, will it be a case of you are switching, or you can choose between Miles and Peter, or is it going to be a thing of Peter hands the reins over, he dies, or Miles? You're playing as just Peter, you're playing as just Miles, what it might be, and then obviously they're going to be doing at the very least the Green Goblin.
Oh yeah, they introduced that and Venom.
And yeah, looks like Venom as well.
Venom was a big that was part of the thing that was in Harry's incubation thing, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. He's sitting in that, and when you first explored that room,
Yeah.
did you notice that over there on the wall?
She saw it. Like
Okay.
I remember seeing a shot where she looks at it and she's like, "Interesting. Wow,
Osborn must be a big like health nut or something like that. She says something like that, but
She doesn't open it or have
from reading the stuff about Harry and like what you find out in that apartment.
Yeah.
And then when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, Harry's in there. I fucking know it. Harry's in there." But I didn't think that he would be. I thought that he would be alone in there, is what I should say.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
yeah. Like he was just in that
he was in there,
back to tank
but
by
he
himself.
was not alone.
He was hanging out with the Venom.
He had all the
symbiote.
black goop, and that'll be a really interesting thing to like have it be Harry instead of Eddie Brock or Flash Thompson or anything else. Like it'll make it a more personal thing for Peter, like kind of like Doc Ock was like a huge deal that he was even a villain, was because like
You cared so much.
Yeah.
They did such a good job making you care for Doc Ock's plight.
Mm-hmm.
And like how he was just a bare bones kind of like scientist just working with whatever he could do.
Working for the man every night and day.
He tried his best to create things that would help the world, and then he just had this. What was his diagnosis? Like he just had a memory
he had
deterioration.
a neurological degradation or something
Yeah,
like that.
like he would constantly lose his temper and like forget things and not be as coordinated.
Well,
and
no,
like
he-
lose his muscles.
Yeah, basically he was it was I think similar to like
MS.
MS or Lou Gehrig's or something like that, where he would just lose function over his body, but
And his mind.
his mind would continue to operate perfectly fine, but he wouldn't be able to operate his body anymore and move.
Right.
So he would be, completely paralyzed, but still able to think, like Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
And he didn't want that. And he and Peter were initially working on technology
For veterans.
for increasing the like mobility and connectivity of certain prosthetics, and just improving prosthetics.
Right.
And then it became, well, why would we just replace what people have if we could make them better?
Yeah.
And that was the first moment I was like, oh no, Doc. Oh no.
So sad. I mean, Peter was so like on board, like we're on the cusp of something really great, and he was just like helping create this villain, which was really sad because
When
he feels so bad afterwards.
I started doing those side activities in the lab of the different research that you can do.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. Peter Parker actually being a scientist. This is neat.
Yeah.
But then when I realized, it was like,
You're helping create a monster.
yeah, I saw the titles of like what you were working on, where it was like motion tracking and spatial awareness and blah, blah, blah. And then the different materials that you're testing out. And you're like, this has good flexibility, but it would be super strong and lightweight. And you're like, oh, fuck no. Come on, man.
Wasn't
Like,
it? Okay. I'm going to talk about that one scene in the game where Doc introduces you to these new arms, and you are given the reins to like help the chip, the sensory chip that goes in his head, that cranial thing.
oh, when you like go on the iPad when he first has the 2 on.
And then you're like seeing all this shit go wrong, and you're like trying to get that percentage down, and you're just seeing all these like red flags, like, oh, this is bad. And even Peter is like saying, oh man, this is not
This
good.
is way worse than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh damn, this is where it like this is where
Mm-hmm.
it peaks, and this is where
This is the turning point
this
where
is the tipping point.
you can't go back.
And I was that like it genuinely freaked me out. I was like, oh my god.
I know. Me too.
There was actually a moment where I'm like, I just don't want to do this.
I was like,
Just destroy it, Pete.
Poor Otto. I
Destroy
wish
it.
that he could be the man that he was.
I'm like Elrond like talking to a seal door. Destroy it.
Destroy it.
Cast it into the fire.
Isildur! There's a little,
Isildur!
in my opinion, there's a little bit of suspension of disbelief of him, like, at the end when he's teamed up with the rest of the Sinister Six and all this other stuff is happening.
Peter was kicking their ass.
There's a
initially.
little
That was
bit
so fun.
of suspension of disbelief of, like, I don't know. It seems like Otto would have had to.
I'm gonna get you a new suit,
He would have had to have, like,
Rhino. I'm gonna take off your suit.
some more time to plan, or at least have the mindset of I'm going to do bad shit, and here's how I'm going to plan to do bad shit before he started going down
that
the path
kinda
we saw him go
it
down.
seemed rushed.
A tiny little bit.
The Martin Lee shit, I love that whole
Mm-hmm.
first half of the game.
Well, they did such a great job of tying Osborn to the rest of the characters and giving him a real reason of being a villain, or like you actually believed that like this person could exist in the world.
And how Peter, like, he doesn't, like, Peter the character, not Spider-Man, but, like, Peter interacting with these potential villains, he's so friendly to them, and they're all friendly to Peter. Like, they care about Peter's well-being. Like, Mary Jane says, you do really great. Like, if you just give one call to Harry, you can work at Oscorp and get paid, like, $1 million. Mm-hmm. Like, they would love you to have you as a scientist. And then you see Octavius say, like, Peter, we got to do great things for humanity and stuff like that. And they actually care about Peter. They care about everything involved in his life. But then when he's Spider-Man, it's all thrown out the window, and he's got this like dual life where he's hated by the city that he lives in, and he just tries to be a friendly person. He tries to be Peter Parker as a superhero under the guise of Spider-Man, but they're all like against him. There's nothing he can do. So it's almost like maybe he should just stick to being Peter Parker in those situations and trying to reel them back in and say, like, you can't do this.
Well, I like how he always was like, even in, I don't know, up to a certain point, he was always like, I'd rather not do this. Like, I'd like to get you help. I would like to, actually see that something happens and not
And he
just
does that for Miles.
beat
and
you up.
It's
and-
great. He's like, the Peter Parker character is like, yeah, I'll get Miles a job at the feast place. And he's like actually helping Miles overcome this, or, go through like a therapy session basically without going to a psychotherapist, but like doing good things to make yourself, cope with the death of a loved one. It's like you help others in need to maybe help alleviate some of that pain that you're going through. And that actually like made sense. And Miles like was a good enough kid to do that and not turn to, like, he could have just turned and started a revenge plot to go against that stuff. But it's a good thing that Peter interjected to actually be his savior in some form, to say, you know what, you can do better things. You don't have to have revenge on the people that killed your dad. Just help other people in need. And like, I like that sentiment in this game where sometimes it works, sometimes
you really do buy that, like, this guy Peter Parker actually cares about other people in this city. Mm-hmm. And like, he loves the city so much that he wants the people that live in it to like be happy and,
and
be able
thrive
to live there and enjoy it as well. And that's part of why he enjoys being Spider-Man, is because he knows that what he's doing is like making these people's lives better, giving them more ease of sleeping at night. And like, if an old lady gets her purse snatched, she might have a little bit of comfort knowing that Spider-Man's there to get that back for her and to help her. Mm-hmm. And you just really buy that he cares, and it's nice. How do I zoom in here? This is so much fun. I'm doing photo mode right now.
Silly Bradshaw. He's not answering my phone call either. That goober. Yeah, the photo mode's great. Making things like the depth of field like all blurry in the background and stuff like that.
I wonder if I can.
That'll be a good picture.
I'm gonna show you the one picture I took in this. Where activities?
No, it's. I think you have to back out actually.
There we go.
Oh, there it is.
And then full screen.
Is he just wearing like his t-shirt
It's the Empire State University suit
and scene
where he's just got a t-shirt and jeans and the sneakers and then Spider-Man mask.
Oh, Spider-Man mask. That's all
But
he's got.
the picture, if you turn your head to the left, you can see that it's flipped 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So that he's like flipping over somebody and webbing them up. And then you got a like focus on the back, on the foreground with soft focus on the back. And I added the thwips and the little Spider-Man in the corner. And there we go.
It's pretty great. I mean, it looks almost like you took the picture on the actual street. Like, it doesn't look like it's from a game. It could pass as a hyper-realistic screenshot.
The water on the street and everything. Yeah, it does look really good.
It looks awesome.
I love it. That's one thing about this game is like just swinging around and everything about the game. Just it looks really good.
Mm-hmm. And all the suits do different things, and you can like really like if you do the R3 and L3 buttons, like the superpower move. I don't know if you have the one that I'm thinking of where you can like
I have all
shoot
of
the
them.
tornado one.
I have all of them.
Well, whatever one
Web
you have.
Blossom.
Yeah, whatever one you have equipped right now. I don't know if you had that one equipped at the time, but yeah, that's one that I have equipped
Give him one slap.
because I just love the. And I wish he would say his moves like he does in the other games. Web ball, web swing.
Did you ever play the one for PlayStation 1?
PC, but yeah, that same game.
I like that one. That was a lot of fun.
It was.
The costumes in that were really good too.
Oh,
like,
there's so much in that.
do you remember
one.
Cosmic Spider-Man? Where he had like a
cape?
No, he just had like a dark blue that faded into like slightly lighter colors and it had stars and stuff on it. But the powers that suit gave you was invincibility, unlimited web shot, and like super strength or something like that. So it was like, well, playing as that's just gonna be a whole lot of fun. So let's do it.
Yeah, I think I remember that one. I remember the Venom one and the metal one where it was like you had like metal plating arms almost. It looked like. But yeah, those are pretty fun suits. The luchador one.
Spider-Punk, I never really used.
That was a fun one.
Which
The
one?
Negative one and
Negative
the punk
suit?
one. The ghost rider one too was pretty dope.
Spirit Spider?
Yeah.
Yep.
He looks so jacked. He's like, fuck you, dude.
I just wish his webs were like the same kind of ghostly
Like on fire.
blue fire or something. That'd
That'd
be
be
so
dope.
cool. Oh, I should change the time to night.
Oh, that'd be scary.
Just have him swinging around at night. Go beat up some bad guys.
Bad guy.
I am the Spider of Vengeance. Bradshaw texted me.
What do you say?
He said, "Saw, dude.
Stop talking to me. Stop calling me, you guys.
Saw, dude.
I saw it. You said get over here?
No,
Oh.
you tell him what you want."
Tell him what I want. What I really, really want? You're gonna hate me for writing this.
I don't. Come on now, don't throw me under the bus. Don't do something that I regret.
Okay, I just said get your sweet ass over here. You gave it to me. I had to. You're gonna say that was Tyler.
Literally, that was Tyler. That's just, I think he might know too, because that's not something that would usually come out of
Oh,
my
of
mouth
course.
in like a colloquial
No, I know.
talking
So that's why I went
situation.
full bore. Prank.
Your sweet ass over here.
Your sweet ass over here.
Aren't you that sweet ass over here?
Yeah. Has Broadshow played this game?
I don't know.
I think
No,
he
he
would
has
go
not.
fucking nuts with it.
I think he probably would, but if he answered any of my calls, he might have had a chance to play it earlier.
Yeah, come over and play. Come over and watch. That's like one of the funnest things to do is to like witness a game with your friends and like go along with the ride, you know, like because I was playing this in tandem with my brother. Like I would play my version and then go over to his place and watch him play his, and then he'd get further than I would, and then we'd go back and forth, and it would be like, oh my god, that's so fun. Like how they introduced Miles's dad at the very beginning, like going into that warehouse or that boat dock area thing.
Yeah.
I think it was like a dock house. Where you're like, oh, who's this rando police guy?
This is one of the first games that I'm like actively looking forward to the DLC, because I mean we might get. I'm fairly certain that we're gonna get more suits with more powers, and we might get more story. We're gonna get more Black Cat. We know that for sure.
Yep, for the next one is the heist.
I know they said like titles for the other ones, but we don't know anything about what they're actually.
Oh yeah,
gonna,
we have titles for the other ones.
what they're actually gonna be. So we might see a little bit of like a Venom tease or more Miles stuff or something like that.
Miles would be great.
One of the DLCs. That would be.
Spider Gwen. Who knows?
They'd have to introduce Gwen Stacy first.
Well, they barely introduced Black Cat. Like there wasn't a whole lot of Black Cat.
She wasn't even. Yeah, she wasn't even in it. She was just mentioned.
She was
a
mentioned,
lot.
and there was like a side quest with her, and there's like pictures of her.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. She was never even in the game. They just you show at one place, and he says, "Oh, Black Cat was here," and then you show up in another place. He's like, "Oh, Black Cat was here." That's all that it is.
The next DLC,
Which is fine.
The next DLC is going to be like Black Cat centric.
Oh, I think one of the DLCs is going to be about Silver Sable.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that. It was like Silver Knight or something, something weird.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, they didn't
She was-
do a,
she
they
was
didn't
cool
do a
in
whole
this.
lot in this with Silver Sable. Like she had some kind of an arc where she's like, "I hate you," and then at the end she's like, "You got to rest. You got to get your strength back." And you're like, "Wait, so now she likes you? What the hell?" It was a quick turn. I think this is one of the best areas to do some web swinging. It's like Soho by Avenger Tower. Yeah, this is a good place.
I don't think they should have put fast travel in this game. Like, I'm glad that they
I don't even- yeah.
did a little bit, but they probably shouldn't
They're
have.
like, hey, you
just
can fast travel home. I want you to fast travel home for this moment, and you'll never use this again, because it's just fun to fly around and interrupt people doing crimes.
I also didn't know for a long time that you could push square around other people and give them,
Give them the thumbs up.
give them,
Give them how do you do?
yeah, finger guns. Hey,
And the best thing that I learned recently was like
I'm a spider.
actually using the like when you're swinging and you're like going really fast and you like want to do a quick break, you press down on the left stick and circle at the same time. You can like give yourself a little whip,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Huh.
to like stop you in mid-flight, just to be like, whoa, did I miss something? And you just stop. That helps when you're like trying to find backpacks in weird tight-knit spots.
Well, there's nothing left for me to do in this game, Tyler. Well, honestly, that's not true. There.
Have you found all the non what would you say, like the all the different buildings that you have to take pictures of?
You mean the 50 secret, the 50 secret photo op locations?
Yeah.
Well, yes, I have. That's how you unlock the Empire State University costume here.
Well, what about like did you go to Ben's grave?
I did. That's one of them.
That was a fun one. Did you go to Have you found the Ghostbuster house?
I went to all 50 of them. Wasn't that one of them? It might have been.
Where there's a ghost on the back of the building, the firehouse.
I think so. I don't know where it is in the game, but I know it's in here.
It's a cool thing. It's like it looks like the Ghostbuster house, and it's supposed to be exactly where it was located in New York.
I did like finding like the Nelson and Murdoch attorney at law.
Yep,
like,
I saw that too.
Roxxon Corp. Just all those little details like that.
I liked finding the Sanctum Sanctorum place too.
Yeah,
That was a really fun one.
Oh no, my absolute favorite one was where they replaced the bull with a statue of Lockjaw.
Oh,
The bull statue in
yeah. I
the
remember.
financial district.
Yep,
They
yep,
replaced
yep.
it with a statue of Lockjaw, and I was just
Yeah,
like,
but-
oh, look at the big guy. There he is. I didn't know that they'd done
Did they
that.
do that for the city hall place with the guy in the front, like Jefferson in the front of the building? Did they change that statue too to something else?
I mean, they might have.
I thought they did.
I don't know.
I know there's a bunch of different statues you can find in this game that are somewhat of a reality switch or reality flip.
Well, and this is such a big map that I imagine that somewhere down the line, like 6 months from now, a year from now, they'll have uncovered like a few more Easter eggs that are hidden away on the map somewhere that are.
Did they already patch that "Will you marry me" part?
I don't know if they did or not, but I know they plan to.
That was such a sad thing.
That's fucking.
The poor guy got put out by his own brother.
But now it'll be a message to his Gram. It'll get a little sweetness from Gram.
Yeah, I like that better. Your grandma can live forever.
Here.
And fucking Stan Lee in this game too. That was a good part.
That surprised me, but yes, there he was.
I really enjoyed that.
I always liked you two.
I always liked you two as a couple.
Thanks, Dad.
Oh, thanks.
Well, actually, Mary Jane was just like a bitch and was just like, don't talk to me.
Fuck you, old man. Why are you watching us?
Stop talking to me, creep. I'll be Spider-Punk.
Be a Spider-Pink.
Get some suit gadgets. Let's see, I don't want Blossom. Sure, I'll take that.
Yep. So the only things I could do in this game still are to, unlock those three. Because I need to get gold on a couple more challenges, and I think that's it. I don't think that there's anything else I could do. Except turn a few silver medals into gold medals. But I've tried my darndest as many times as I care to try without throwing a controller or something, and I'm perfectly fine accepting silver for those ones. So I don't feel that bad. Like, if the game chooses to tell me that I got 100% on it and I already have the platinum trophy, that's good enough for me. It would be nice to have the satisfaction of actually getting everything like that, but
Parkour.
oh well.
Parkour.
Just Spider-Punk tearing up the town.
Parkour. I just love doing this.
I've
Trash cans.
never done this.
Yeah, you just run on shit.
And then, yeah, there needs to be a really good way of like launching off of a wall.
Well, isn't there? Yeah, I mean, you can just the baby. Let's see. Yeah, it's a fun one.
Yeah, but that honestly, there's no really fast or good way to just launch off the wall. You push circle and he like takes a second to do anything, and you push X and he takes a second to do anything. And every time that I'm slowly crawling or running on a wall, there's no really like fast way to just jump off the wall and out in the air.
You're right, Wilson. This game sucks.
God damn it, fuck, I hate Spider-Man. Can't jump off a wall, so you can swing on him and you can cling to him and on May, Mr. Marissa Tomei.
How did you think of the characters, like their depiction of all the characters? Like Aunt May was like,
It was good.
yeah, they did pretty well. Like the Martin Lee, like I don't know a whole lot of Mr. Negative crap.
I
that
know a little bit, and from what I know, they did a very good job
well,
portraying him.
the guy that created that character, or like the comic book writer, helped with this game. Like was a consultant for this.
Yeah, Mr. Negative is a pretty recent addition to the Spider-Man mythos. I think he came out in like, I don't know, 2014 or so. I'm probably wrong about that, but
I just know that he's not one of my Spider-Man, like all the Spider-Man villains I know. Like he wasn't even in my lexicon or in my bestiary. He wasn't on my sphere grid.
the one thing that I think I could say about this game is like a complaint or just something that I wish they had done more of was more boss battles. Because we got one with the Shocker, and then there were a few in the end, but that was really it. It was just like one in the beginning, and like the one with Fisk, the one with Shocker, and then a few at the end. And they weren't paced out very well throughout the game. You kind of just got the one with Kingpin, and you got another one in near the beginning, and then a bunch at the end. And I wish there had just been more, like if you had faced off with Daredevil or done some stuff like that, or maybe you are like going through and you think that you're on the track of some crimes and you're looking at these scenes where people like there's been all these shootings, and you're like you track them down and you find out that it's Punisher instead, and you're like, oh shit, Punisher.
That'd be dope.
Yeah. So I don't know. I understand why they can't open it up too much, but
Yeah.
I like how Spider-Man was always interacting with the other New York superheroes, because at a certain point they're all that each other have, and they're all criminals and then vigilantes in the night.
Yep. I mean, Daredevil would be a sweet one. I just
Yeah.
don't know if that one is a Sony IP anymore, or is it, or was it ever?
No, but
Marvel still has, or
I mean,
I mean, games
this
is a different medium.
I believe so. Yeah, like I think that
So could they incorporate
this-
like Iron Man into the scene?
they wouldn't be able to, like, if they hadn't, not that they wouldn't be able to, but maybe I'm under the belief that they wouldn't have gone out of their way to put like Avengers Tower, the Nelson and Murdoch, like they wouldn't have put all that stuff in the game if they weren't okay using it. So maybe in the second one they'll have like, because it was fucking awesome seeing Taskmaster and Silver Sable.
Yep.
And like apparently even the Golden Tigers, or no, that I'm thinking of Iron Fist. Like just with having Martin Lee and the Demons as your antagonists for the bigger part of the game, like they're the criminal element. Mm-hmm. You don't have any other, like the Fisk gang just goes away basically, and then it's just the demons. Spider-Man.
Come on in.
Whoa. Kaboom!
Boom. How many times can I fucking web zip somebody up here? Web swing.
That's why I like equipping that. Build up electricity in the air and we release it on the ground.
Yeah.
Pull everybody up and build up a lot of electricity, and then come on down and
I love fucking
yeah.
shooting him up and then like triangling, like pressing the triangle or holding him
And then swinging them down.
swinging him, flipping him down.
Yeah,
Like,
that's really satisfying.
there's so many satisfying combos you can do, and then like incorporating any of these into the mix.
Yeah, the gadgets, like I honestly forget about them so much because just
Or,
doing
like,
the combos are so much fun.
So many times I'm just like,
With the web shooter.
yeah, I'm just flipping, going nuts on the the big guys, like the the Fisk type dudes.
Yeah.
Where I'm just either using the this one, the impact, and just popping them with it so they just
Go up
don't,
against
like,
a wall or
rush me.
something.
Yeah, because they get like 2 really good shots on you, like that they travel a distance to punch you, and like it's really punishing. Like it's bad, and they're just they're a nuisance sometimes when you're fighting. I hate this game.
2 out of 10.
2 stars.
2 stars.
2 stars, no fanfare.
2 stars, no fanfare this time.
I love how that should be our rating for anything going forward. Is our
That's already
10th Kingdom rating.
That's already how I grade everything in my life.
Give it a 1 to 2 star rating, but like if it's epic or if it's like the best thing ever, you give it the fanfare.
What was that the subtitle? It was like 2 stars. It was something fanfare. There was more than one word, but
Was it?
I believe so.
Ominous fanfare.
Something like that.
I just think like giving something that rating, like 1 star is like an okay movie. 2 stars is like a really good movie, but like 2 stars fanfare, one of the best movies you've ever seen.
Well, you know what's going to happen now to me in my own personal life is the next time I'm just on my own somewhere and I see something that I like, I'm going to myself put up 2 thumbs and just say 2 stars fanfare. Yeah. It's
2
like,
stars fanfare.
yeah.
Whoa.
Have you noticed though that sometimes when you're fighting the Sable troops, an entire car will get out, and their timing for when they're all going to shoot you is the exact same. So even when you dodge one, the rest of them still shoot you anyways, and you just die. That happened to me all the time when I was playing this.
I don't like fighting the Sable troops. They were kind of a nuisance.
The only ones I like fighting are the ones that are with the jetpacks, because those are interesting.
Yeah,
Like
they
fighting them
were
in the
fun.
air and... Whoa, I thought the guy strapped up on the wall was shooting you. It's like, my hands are free. Have you ever noticed that? What happens to them when you launch them off
When you launch
walls?
them off, they just automatically.
They sail, and then whoosh, something flies out from them, and they...
I think like it's supposed to, like, Spider-Man always has like a web like gadget where like they'll just get sucked to a wall and not actually outright die.
Yeah, because I do think that there's a little detail that when you knock somebody off of a wall like that, he will send out one little web shot that has that on it or something like that, or just enough so that your mind is like, okay, he webbed them up so that if they, they'll swing and hit whatever.
I love just doing like cool stunts like "Hwah." Like it looks dope when he does it. Doesn't it look sweet?
Since you guys can't see what he did, Tyler just stood on the edge and didn't do anything that the game has built in, but he just pushed the dodge button and did a little flip off of a ledge.
It looks so dope when you're like, after you fight like a bunch of guys and you get that slow-mo, like you killed the last guy.
Wait, let me see that move one more time. 2 stars fanfare.
2 stars fanfare right there. That's the coolest.
That's what I give it.
What else can you do?
Hey! Oh, whoa.
Let me see.
Wait, jump up and then dive.
Jump up like.
Oh,
couldn't do it.
no, don't just jump up there and then dive.
Like, do the super bounce.
Whatever you did, and then. Oh, I do like that there's no fall damage in this game. That's
Oh yeah, you just tuck and roll.
That's very
a
nice.
Pretty cool tuck and roll. Let's see.
oh yeah. Oh, ooh.
But like I was gonna say, after you fight a group of guys and you get like that last guy and there's like a slow-mo part, I always try to do the flip, and then like you can see him do like a cool little acrobatic thing in slow motion.
2 stars fanfare. Tyler's in love with this game. He's in love with Spider-Man's butt. Watching him flip around.
Pretty good butt. Pretty good spider butt.
He's got a punk butt.
He hasn't got a thorax, but where the thread should.
No,
come
he
out.
doesn't have a Thor hammer. That's a little Marvel joke for all you out there.
Let's go on the bridge. Let's see what's going on the bridge.
You are leaving the play area. Please do not leave the play area.
Oh no!
There was a picture over there too, and I was trying to get like close enough where it would show up, and it kept giving me that message, and I was like, "Fine, I'm not gonna do it then." I just had to jump way up and look down the bridge. Look down the bridge.
How many times can you do this? Just all the time,
All the time. As long as he rolls, you can do that.
dude. Like this is how I would get around New York City. I'm just
What
tucking
would
rolling.
they call you? The Slinky?
No, they'd call me the.
They call you the Cricket.
the bouncing ball.
Bang.
Boing. They call me Mr. Boing.
I am really glad that they put the super jump in there because that was always something I really enjoyed in the old Spider-Man games.
Yeah, it's
was
cool.
holding down the jump button and then you can see him like tense up and he starts to just shake a little bit and then boom, he
He's like a
releases it.
tantrum. He's just like, I'll get you.
He just crouches down into a little ball. I was like, "Oh, Green Goblin,
Get me angry.
flash storm."
All right, let's see here. New York.
New
Noodle.
York Noodle, Nine Noodle.
Neat.
Take a picture of that. The
Little
little
tit.
Italian grocery.
They're making fun of Mario. Did you notice that one PI mission where you are tracking that girl's boyfriend, and then that leads to another tracking of that boyfriend's contact, and then that contact goes to an apartment, and you like take pictures of these whiteboards. Mm-hmm. The characters in that were Nico and Roman.
Mm-hmm. They were Eastern European guys, and they're like,
Nico, my cousin.
"Yes, time to go."
What the fuck did I just do? I did not even mean to do that. Hey guys, scaffolding. All right, Mr. There you go. What's Broadshow saying, by the way?
Nothing.
Oh. That wasn't him.
No.
What do you say to my comment?
Nothing. He hasn't said a word
He's
ever
probably
since he
like-
said "suh," dude. He just wanted to know what was "suh." He didn't have any input.
Well, just tell him thinking about him.
Thoughts and prayers.
Your heart. You have such a sweet heart. Whoa, taking your trunk. Throwing your shit. Give me your gun. Whoa, now we got some demons on me? What are you guys doing together? Spider-Punk. Spider-Punk. Hey, Mr. Fist.
Picking up change in the alley. Swinging on webs after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Tell my parents, eat a cock. Look out. Here comes a spider punk.
Spider-Punk. Well, you know, I've been
Tearing jeans. Yeah, yeah.
I've been harassing my wife with
That's nice.
With the chills guy. And I've constantly been saying the last thing you want in your Burger King burger is some foot fungus.
I don't know if this is real or not. This could just be CGI footage, but I don't know. It looks real to me. Maybe
Look
you
behind
know.
this newscaster.
I-
You would not think that this is a
You would not think
trick
that
of
this
the
is
camera.
possible, but maybe it is. I don't know. I can't. I'm every single time that I try and do that impression, I'm like, nope. I'm gonna stop because I can't do it. It's so unique. You can't replicate
It's
it.
almost like Valley Girl mixed with like oh my god, you know, like people that like gag me with a spoon, but
It's Valley Girl
those
put on.
different inflections, and then
it's-
like somebody that has like somebody that's cold, like that's shivering kind of. Like,
I was just
oh
gonna
my
say,
god, I
it's-
am like shivering.
It's Valley Girl that's put on like when you go into like an audio mixer and you put on oscillate and like
Well,
yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
But his I watched his live stream. Like he has like a live stream preset where he has like a bunch of his videos, and yeah, I was just like watching his scary, spooky stuff. He's like, watch this creature walk across the road. You would not think this is something that you can see in the daylight. I wonder what people were thinking at the time of this recording.
This is quite possibly a large shadow, but it's hard to tell with what the camera is doing. I'm not sure.
This
I
was recorded
fucking-
by a surveillance camera at 2:00 in the morning.
You can see the man clearly is shaken by the experience.
If you want to see my face, go to my Instagram.
I love those videos so much.
I hate everything about him, but I love them too.
I know. I just want to like at the same time strangle him, but I can't
But
stop
strangle
listening, and I can't.
give him the biggest kiss. Like, do what you do, man.
And they're all so incredibly fake, and I love it.
Oh yeah, like of course he's like just trying to like fishing for like that guy in the ghillie suit that you posted with like this shambling creature.
This
Walk
shambling
behind this
creature,
news
but-
reporter. It could just be a man in a suit.
He's he's got a lot of passion.
He does.
That's good. That's very good.
He has a demographic maybe too. I just constantly was saying the Burger King foot lettuce to my wife. That's why, and she was just like, "Stop it!" The last thing you want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus.
I don't know where you're getting that from. Was that in that video that I posted?
No. That's
Okay.
just one I remember
Okay.
watching, like, and it was memed at a certain point too.
Oh, it was memed.
It was number 15. He was like, number 15.
Number 15.
Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus. I was like, why the fuck is
so
this?
specific.
Yeah, I know. It's like, is this something scary? Or is this like those cursed images?
This young girl walks across the street, but no one
No one recalls seeing her.
my brain stopped.
Like, am I
It
having-
all came together in one big amalgamation of stupid and just
I am-
shut down my brain. Okay, we've been talking for like 2 hours.
Really?
Probably. You've got the timer.
Yeah, we've probably been. But yeah, that was a good convo. I'm glad we can digress on the game and jump right into chills.
In Pinocchio.
And
Don't forget Pinocchio.
That's the stuff, Pinocchio.
That's the stuff.
Who was that? The guy.
The guy who did the voice of Jiminy Cricket?
Yeah, let's bring it all back around. Was
Okay.
it the guy that did Dr. Octavius's voices in this game? It sounds like it could be.
Peter.
He did have a very unique voice in this game.
Come on, Peter. You gotta.
I liked it though. Like they did a really good job of just developing that character, and like
Oh yeah, he was.
at the end
He was
when they're
tragic.
having that big conversation about like, you know, we do what we do for the people beneath us and all this crap, and he's like, Peter.
Look at this like anti-gravity shit going on.
God, that would hurt.
Come here, guys.
Well,
Well, yeah, we've digressed long enough. I'm glad we can have a nice, thorough discussion of the game. And if this is one of the most successful games that PS4 has had this year so far. So I'm pretty excited to know that they're probably going to make a sequel to it.
his name, the person. Wait. Wait. Am I?
Are you? I
God
don't
damn
know.
it.
What's wrong?
Maybe I'm reading this wrong, and it's just something that I'm not understanding for how they're crediting people. Or do they really need... Yep. Okay. Jesus Christ. I look up Jiminy Cricket.
Sure you do. As you
That-
should do.
That right there. The Jiminy Cricket.
Of course, Jiminy Cricket.
Under the picture with the rest of the information that is vital to this character, they felt the need to credit who this character of Jiminy Cricket was portrayed by as both a child and an adult in Once Upon a Time that god awful show on ABC.
Oh no, really?
Yeah,
I've never watched that show.
I don't know, but regardless, he was voiced by Cliff Edwards.
Okay, he's probably like a
back in the day.
renowned voice actor or actor. Cliff?
Cliff Edwards,
Cliff. Okay, I thought you said
known as
Clay.
Ukulele Ike, American singer, actor, and voice actor.
Was he from the South? Because Jiminy seemed to like be from the South.
He had a #1 hit with "Singing in the Rain" in 1929.
Singing in the rain.
I'm
Pinocchio.
singing in the rain, just singing in
You
the
know,
rain.
I would imagine his "When You Wish Upon a Star" is more notorious.
No, notorious.
If he did sing that, and then he sings
When you wish notorious.
he sings "Hypnotized" by Biggie. All right, we'll sign off now, and we'll let the people get back to their regular scheduled Fargonauts programming.
This digression is over.
It's over. Well, let's just keep talking and then just fade the audio out while we just go on to the next topic of
All right.
Donald Trump's toad dick.
The last thing you want is a Donald Trump tote dick. The last thing that you'll see in your life is a Donald Trump tote dick.
How does toads like talk again?